Hey everybody, it's Jim from Cigars. You know, when we talk about how cigars are made, we tend to focus on the glamorous parts of the process, like rolling and blending and all that kind of stuff. But cigars all start from a cigar tobacco seed. So what I'm going to do is look at the portion of the cigar making process today where we take the seeds and they end up as tobacco leaves. Some really interesting stuff I uncovered on that topic. So let's get started talking about it. Cigar tobacco seeds are tiny, tiny things about as big as a poppy seed. About 1,000 of them will fit in a thimble. That's how small they are. In fact, what they do is they actually coat them with sort of a clay-based substance to make them bigger so they're like a large BB and they can be handled easier. And then when they water them to start the growth process, it washes the clay part away. Most of the cigar seeds that New World cigars are made out of actually do come from Cuban lineage. And what happened was back in the revolution days, when a lot of the cigar makers fled Cuba, because cigar seeds are so tiny, they were able to pack up a bunch of them and take all those seeds to other countries like Dominicana and Nicaragua and Honduras and so forth and plant them there. So sometimes you'll see, especially in Corojo tobacco, you'll see that they say Cuban seeds. And those are seeds that are derived directly from Cuban seeds. Other seeds that you might run into in New World cigars are cross-bred over the decades since they were brought in from Cuba, but their chances are their ancestry is a Cuban seed. Believe it or not, the process from tobacco seed to leaf is less than 4 months, and our tiny little seed during that 4-month period multiplies in weight to become the full tobacco plant 20 million times. Pretty incredible. Step one, though, is very modest. The seeds are taken and put into a germination area, and that allows them to make little sprouts, and that takes about 1 to 2 weeks. During that time, they have to be very careful. They have to be watered properly, kept about 75 to 80 degrees, and so forth to get them to sprout. Once they're sprouted, they're put into trays. They spend a lot of time in the trays, about 60 days. That's where they actually get mature enough to be planted in the field. So now we're into the process for about 74 days, and we're going to plant them in the field. And most tobacco growing operations today use an automated machine for planting the seedlings out of the trays. It's important to note this is I thought was really interesting, is there's something that the cigar growers learn kind of the hard way, and that is never plant more in one day, because the automated process makes it go really fast. But never plant more in one day than you can harvest in one day. Because as we see, as we go along here in this next step, things start to move awfully fast. And that's the step where they're growing out in the field. It takes water and care and manual hoeing of the rows and things like that. But this process happens very fast. We go from a little tiny seedling that got planted in the field to getting ready to harvest in as little as 45 days. And the 45-day number is actually for Connecticut shade, which grows really fast. On a nice warm summer night, a Connecticut shade plant will grow up to 2 inches overnight. So that's how fast these tobacco plants are growing. They are really going. So in 45 days for Connecticut shade and up to 60 days for the more bold tobaccos is how long it takes before they're harvested. In other videos, I talked about harvesting and how the primings work. I have a chart up showing that just to kind of review that. But they always start from the bottom of the plant. And then, like I said, it moves very quickly. 3 or 4 days later, they're doing the next priming, and a few days after that. And so the whole plant is pretty much cleaned off within 10 days or so. So that's the process from seed to leaf. I hope you found it as interesting as I did. And we'll see you next time from Cigars.